ise biliyorsunuz ki doktorumuz beyin cerrahımız, Medali İftarımız. Şimdi mikrofon bizim. Buyurun.
Hello and salam everybody. And Mr. Adnan Oktar's salam, greetings, deep love and respect to all of you. Now, listen to the speakers today. It is possible for life to emerge by chance. This is a scientifically and there is a creator. If somebody says I am, that means definitely this person is being created. If you look at scientific evidence, for example, they say if life emerged by chance, take a certain molecule from a cell. There are 10 billion proteins exist in a cell. One protein to exist by chance is impossible because other proteins must exist. Proteins can only be synthesized by a battalion of the proteins. DNA must exist. RNA must exist. Complete living cell must exist. The history of life. See, the cyanobacteria and photosynthesis emerged 3.7 billion years ago all at once. Now, last fossils actually have shown that 4.3 billion years ago, actually, the first cell appeared all at once. That's a deadly blow to Darwinism. And also fossil evidence. We have 700 million fossils. They don't have any transitional forms. The species appear abruptly, complete, and perfectly formed. That was admitted by Darwin. That was admitted by Niles Eldredge. All the paleontologists, Darwinists, that species appear all at once. It's like creation. Now, subject you're going to listen. My talk is revealing the crucial secret of life. So you should listen to it attentively because it's going to change your outlook in the material world. This is not an approach. It is not a philosophy. This is a fact supported by the science of fact. Okay. The external world, we observe the external world with our five senses: the vision, taste, touch, and smell. So the man is conditioned right from the beginning that life is absolute material reality because we observe the outside world through our five senses. Now, if you look at the scientific evidences, science tells us they're different. Now, I want to go these five senses into the chemistry and into the vision and give you the scientific evidence. Science tells us today. Now, you see the candle over here. This candle, the electrons of this candle, photons, these are so-called rays. Photons shower our eyes, and these photons, the light is changed through electric signals, and electric signals only travel in the brain, and the brain interprets these electric signals as vision. So the light itself never enters the brain. The brain is isolated to light actually. It's complete darkness in the brain. Only the electric signal, so electrical copy of the outside world exists in the brain. Now, see the eye over here. Let's go. This is talking about a little bit about the eye structure also. What comes into our eyes goes through the cornea, through the lens, through the some kind of fluid inside the eye, travels up to the retina. These are light-sensitive cells. You see different layers of eye. There are like at least different components, and that these components must exist all at once, all to the eye functional. Then it will develop through Darwinism. And look at the history of life, life with 30,000 lenses. The fossil shows 2,000 different lenses lenses as an ordinal eye. This is eye in this real life. Now you see some vessels. I want to pay attention to that. And the cable. That's the optic nerve. There are no light sensitive cells over here. It's called blind spot. So we have a big blind spot in the eye. We have a large defect in the vision actually. We can see it, but we don't have any defect. Look at it, you see perfectly. And the vessels exist in front of the light sensitive cells. Can we stop here? Can we stop this now? Okay. This is the optic nerve, blind spot. These are the light sensitive cells. In front of these light sensitive cells, there are two layers of different cells, 1 million axons. So the light sensitive cells are actually blocked by 2 layers of cells and these axons, 1 million axons. And in front of that you have vessels. So you know what? It's impossible for eye to see. It is not treated this way. Technically and scientifically, the eye cannot see. Now, let's go forward actually. Of course, we have a vision of nature, the birds, the flowers, and the universe. The stars are right in the vision of his brain. So we have a feeling of space. For example, now you're in a conference room. Now you'll see a screen. Are you in the conference room? No. The conference room is inside you, inside your brain actually. But we have a feeling, the sense of space inside the brain called electrical copies. So, of course, I see a distance. For example, I see 10 meters, or we can see the stars, but things inside the brain actually. But that gives us the sense of space. Now, we have the electrical copies. That means we can never confront the original of matter. Because we can never exist in the brain. Take a look at the outside. We can never confront the original of matter. We are only confronted with electrical copies inside the brain. So do we need the external world to generate these senses, these electrical in the brain? Scientific answer is no. How do we know? Scientific advancement, simulators, for example. There are simulators produced. They were on the mind. These simulators, they put the mind page. They generate the vibrating pulses in the back of their head. That's why they started to see actually. The camera zoomed in. They had the urge. They raised their hands to protect themselves. So you know what means? The external world is not needed to generate in the brain. The second thing is, the second part of it comes from our dreams. But first, George Berkeley is a devout Christian. He's a philosopher. That's what he said. He said, we think that things exist because we see and touch them. It is because they give these sensations that we believe in their existence. But our sensations are but ideas which we have in our minds. We are then deluding ourselves when we think we know the world and the exterior to us, since they exist only in our minds. And it's correct. The level of science was that far, like this 21st century science, but he knew it is possible. Take what's outside and external world that just something happens inside our minds. I told you about this letter. So they generate these senses without external world. So external world is not needed actually. What about dreams? Dreams are very powerful. We always experience this evidence every night, almost every night. Whenever we fall asleep, we see crowds of people we have never seen before, houses we have never seen before. We go to environments that we've never seen before. And sometimes we behave against this law, but you never question, for example, I in my I never say I cannot fly not on the physical laws. I have I feel but you are lying in bed and your eyes are closed. There's no sound, no touch, silence, perfect silence, and feel parts of matter. Imagine somebody in history trying to upgrade, saying that the original matter. Now, he says on his shoulder and says, well, saying that you cannot be the original, still take a trip. He, of course, he gets in the car, drives the car, feels the wind, and he not see the original matter. All of a sudden, the alarm wakes up. This could be to object somebody that's not the original matter. This could be in total real life. The reason why we call it waking, maybe dream. People find out about that. Only find out about dream when they wake up. So one day, we wake up dead, and we find out that all about it is the waking. Now this is from the problem that people sleep and wake up and they die. This is to say that the objects in the world alive are similar to those seen when they sleep while dreaming. The evidence about life. Not only that, in the Quran there are very powerful statements. God said, "I refuge in Allah from your sins." They say, "Bless us, who has raised up our sleeping flight." It is we only are dream and we only when they are raised they from our sleeping place. All merciful promise. Of course, the rest is who is the perceiver. Then who is or hears or touches or takes. This has to be a material being. Now, first, Richard Gregory is a Neuro Academy. This temptation must be avoided. To say the eye uses pictures in the brain. The picture in the brain is just in the eye, but either eye to and so on. In an end, pictures is absurd. I mean, but he knows the eye there are electric cells copy the external world. So who is the perceiver? And one said, speculated about little man, little man. So, where is this entity that who does actual knowing? Or what we are looking for is what looking. So this material world is made by a being, material being, which is not matter, and which is the soul, the magical being. Okay. Now, in Quran, God keeps all heaven and earth, prevent them from vanishing away. And if vanished one could hold, certainly he is more bearing or forgiving. Plus, scientifically and logically, that's how it's actually. God says in the Quran, universe is stable. This is not stable. It is only because entire everything disappears. It is creation of God. Otherwise, it does not. To God, wherever you turn, there is the presence of God, all pervading and all knowing. So, space. This room, I see looks like part of God. Third to me, I see people and actually in my in a single path. Healing and also part of the external. I see my hand, I see my leg, I see that inside of the inside of the brain. That's an scientific fact. But the brain is also part of the external. In our head. For example, I take my take out my head in front of me. I would see if I say I the brain in my brain. So where is there? I'm right here. So you understand why it inevitably follows that think this soul. And God is with God created us in the dimension of time and space, but it's not bound to the space and encompasses everything. Outside our ideas, outside everything encompasses. God wherever we turn, so God. So God is there, not bound to space. The space is a feeling to us. So sometimes you say, reject it beyond matter. It's not look at the science. This is not true. We have and a being which has an image of illusion cannot be an actual being. We are a being with an image of reality. So we will God is us, how God sees us, and that in the I cannot believe him, but I we create his own self. We are near than calcular brain. So space first we live very beginning to the condition from the very beginning that life is material reality, but God is not about that, and this is only generated as a being, as a sensor. Does it exist in reality? I said inside the face. We lie in the bed, we drive our car, we stumble to Ankara, we fly an airplane. Are we moving? Not at all, but that so when we wake up, then we may discover that we discussed another dream also. Now, it's also scientific fact, also another statement from the Holy Book, that our movements, all our actions are created by God. I look first at scientific evidence, then I there were experiments done in Berlin, Bernstein. It's a very famous lab, actually. They have done experiments on several people. They put these people into MR scan. It's a different MR scan, a functional MR scan. It shows wherever is electrical activity in the brain, it shows immediately. So they were given two buttons, actually, and they were asked to make a decision. For example, I have two buttons, and I push the wrong one. Okay? And then they watch out with the function MR scan, and they record the timing of the decision. Every time these people by their free will and make the decision, of course I make the decision and I immediately press the button, 10 seconds before, 10 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds before, they saw the MR scan in the motor cortex, motor area, you know, it's like this way, it's across the pathways. For example, if I press the right button and I make my decision, 10 seconds before the decision, actually, this area is activated and they cannot change this decision. So who is the one who makes the decision? Who creates these actions, actually? And that fact is given in the Quran also. When you threw, it was God who threw. So God did all these actions. God created both you and what you do. So we only have the imagination, the sense of we are doing something. But scientifically, 10 seconds before, for example, I'm speaking over here, if you would put an MR scan on my brain, you would discover that 10 seconds before these words in my language center, it started, I cannot stop that. I feel like I'm making the decision and I'm constructing these sentences and I'm making these gestures over here. I push these buttons. 10 seconds before in my brain, the brain is activated and I cannot change the decision. So the important statement is, of course, there is clearly a creator, God, who displays magnificent creation, who has omnipotent, eternal power and might, and creator of everything. Now, another information is given in the Quran, actually. It is in the source book, it's high exalted, full of wisdom. So, our entire life, like a dream, actually is known by God. It's not known for us. That's the reason why we are being tested, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen next week. But this is true for the God, because time is also another perception. Let me give you another example, actually, scientific evidence. In Princeton Research Center, it's called NEC. The Einstein's laboratory, wherever Einstein worked years ago. These are very famous technical labs. They did an experiment. One was who published this paper, actually. That was in world media, in entire Turkish media, American media, everywhere. They sent a laser beam into a cesium environment. The environment was full of cesium. The laser beam entered this environment. And you know what happened? The speed increased 300 times speed of light in this environment. So the speed comes into the environment. The light of speed, this light of speed increased 300 times. You know what happened? They observed the light exited the environment and then entered the environment. So all these cause and effect relationship changed. So you know what I'm saying? The time worked backwards, actually. Light entered, of course, light scientifically, the light must enter the environment first and then exit, right? No, because of speed increase 300 times, it exited first and then entered the cesium environment. So time, there is no absolute time. Time is another perception. There is no time for God. God created the eternal life, our eternal life, in the infinite fraction of a second and finished it. That fact is given in the holy books, actually. In the Bible, in the Quran, and in the Torah. Okay, let me finish. So, very obvious, there is a creator. We have seen Darwinism as a fallacy, sudden creation. But another fact, very powerful fact, is that we only observe a perception. And of course, if we ask the question, who perceptions, who creates these images, it becomes inevitable the fact that God is the creator of everything. If he did ask you for it, all your wealth, and put you under pressure, you would be tight-fisted and it would bring out your malevolence. What that means is, you know, somebody who has a bank account, a car, a beautiful house, swimming pool, a boat, and travels, maybe he has an airplane, very rich, holdings, companies. He has all of this as an imagination. Like an example. So, having a great love to this life doesn't make any sense. If this is only a dream and the perceptions we are dealing with created by God, there is a purpose of this life. The purpose of this life is not having a good career, good family, or making a lot of money. You can have this, of course, but this is not the purpose of life. You know, the purpose of this life is to gain the great pleasure of God, to live accordingly. He described that in his book. He introduced himself in the holy books, and he describes the way to live. So this should be secret because this is going to change the entire life. This is stress the disease of the century. Why? Because people don't think about these facts. If they found out about this reality, of course, if they would think about destiny and about everything, of course, they would have a very strong and never think about what will happen tomorrow, what's going to happen if I lose my career, if I lose my money, if I get sick, if I get old, if I die. Everything is under control. We know, understand this scientifically and logically. This is an inevitable conclusion. There are some logical deficiencies of the material. It's very childish. They say, if, for example, a bus hits you, you have a broken bone, then you will find out if the matter is real or not. If somebody slaps you, then you will see if the matter is real or not. Or if you have a cut and you see blood, then you will find out. No, you don't say that only the vision is an indication. Only the vision. The pain, the blood, the touch sensation, the sound, the taste and smell, all are created as electrical copies. We never come from the original matter. Actually. This is the bus, pain, the broken bone are all parts, and your body is part of this so-called external world, which exists as which is created as a perception of your soul. So sometimes they say we don't believe in God, the materialists, because we don't see God with our eyes. And if you're all of us, of course, and image or equality of illusion, of course, you cannot see the eternal being. So scientifically and logically, this is an inevitable fact, and we should live accordingly. So the truth cannot be avoided. Just to finish that, God has promised those of you who believe in the right actions, and He will make them successors in the land as He made those before them successors, and will firmly establish for them the religion with which He is pleased, and give them in the place of their fierce security. They worship me, not associating anything with me. Any who disbelieve after that, such people are deviators. So God promises us good morality will prevail the world. You know this from the Bible, from the Torah, from the Quran and Islamic sources. We are living in specific times called end times. First part of the end times is wars, violence, and the bloodshed. With the return of Jesus and appearance of the Mahdi Moshiach of Judaism and Islam, there will be a golden age. And we are living in these specific times. God controls this, and God promises that in the Quran. Now remember, I talked to you about the destiny. God created everything in an infinite fraction of a second and finished it. So the future for us is not future for the God. God sometimes in the Quran talks about the future, or the present tense, or the past tense. God talks about the future sometimes in the past tense, and sometimes in present tense, and sometimes in the future, because the future for us is not future for the God. God created that and finished it. So good days will come. We are very hopeful We will see Jesus soon. We will see Mehdi Moshiach of Islam and Judaism soon. And there will be a golden age. Thank you very much for listening.